Hello, and Happy New Year to you. It's been a little while since I posted a video. Things have been very busy here, and painting and toy soldiers have had to be put to one side for a short while. And it might be a little while before I get back into the swing of it in the way that I was coming up to Christmas. But nevertheless, I've managed to do some things, and I thought I'd take a quick opportunity to update you on some of the projects. So I shall turn the camera around and show you what I've been up to. These are not new painting, but I have been rebasing them. So these are for my 7 Years War project, and we've got a Hessian contingent, 4 battalions of foot, and 4 units of cavalry. And then there's a small contingent of Legion Britannique, a Hanoverian unit that was raised at about 1760. So I'll show you those in a little bit more detail. So here we have the Legion Britannique. It was an interesting unit that was formed in around 1760 from deserters and prisoners of war and all sorts of unlikely sources. But it was officered by Hanoverians, so it was part of the Hanoverian army. And it was set up with 5 battalions of foot and 5 squadrons of dragoons. Each battalion and squadron had a different colour uniform. So the first battalion, the first squadron, had a light blue jacket. The second battalion had a dark blue jacket, the third white, and the final 2, the fourth and the fifth, had red. These are Freikorps figures, very old, and I had a bit of trouble deciding on how to base the foot. The battalions were smaller than the regular line, and they were used as sort of light infantry most of the time, although somebody did point out that at Warburg they were deployed opposite the French right. I don't think they were ever intended to engage the French right, just to occupy their attention. But I came to the conclusion that having a battalion with 12 figures, 3 to a base, would work quite well for what I've got in mind. So there we go, that's the Legion Britannique. I will stop there and put some of the Hessians up. It has been a couple of days since I started trying to film this video, but as is the way of things, we needed to use the table, so I had to clear out from here. Never mind, we're back now. So here are my rebased Hessians. These are old figures. I painted these in the 90s, and they're minifig figures. And in the way they were based before, they were a real pain. Though the pose is quite dramatic, advancing with bayonet lowered, but actually kept on knocking them over by the bayonets getting sort of knocked or hit. So now they've been rebased on this 6-figure to a base. They're much more stable and much easier to use. These troops illustrate another interesting fact or feature, that over time research changes. When I put these together, there wasn't a great deal of information around on the Hessians in the 7 Years War. There was one prime source, the books by Pengel, and they were excellent at the time. But modern research has shown that some of those things may be a bit out of date. So, for example, the flags. Pengel shows these flags as being carried by the troops at the time, but modern research suggests that it's a little bit more in doubt. Nevertheless, I still think they look are quite respectable, and there's nothing to replace them with, so they will stay. Beyond that, there's also some changes in actually the units themselves. The flag with the black flag unit at the back there, I painted up as von Gilse, so black facings. But looking at Chronoscaf, which is a wonderful example of how good the internet can be, it suggests that that regiment only got the black facings after 1760, by which time the unit had been changed from an infantry regiment to a fusilier regiment. So the black facings should go with a mitre cap. I have another regiment I haven't finished painting, which I had painted up as a fusilier regiment, but again, looking at more modern research, the unit that I was painting at the time does not appear to have become a fusilier regiment, so I've been changing the facing colours on that so that it is in line with more modern thinking. Of course, it could all change again next year, but that's where we are. Right, I'm going to move those off and show you the cavalry. So here we are with the Hessian Mounted contingent. There are 4 units here. 2 are their regiments of horse, and then at the back in the blue coats are dragoons. When I painted these and used the Pengel source, it gave the regiment of horse a cuirass, but looking at Chronoscaf, it suggests the cuirass wasn't adopted until 1764, just after the 7 Years' War. But there you go. Regiments of horse had a 2-squadron organisation. So in my basing, a squadron is 4 figures or 2 bases. And the dragoons had a 4-squadron organisation. And that's what's reflected here. So old figures, but they will still play a part in some of the games I've got in mind. This is a very professional setup. The camera just ran out of space and cut off before I quite finished. So just to wrap up then, these are my rebased Hessians. They're destined to play a part in some of my forthcoming 7 Years' War games, and I hope you have enjoyed seeing them, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.